Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Garden of Sports. I'm your host, Jake Gardner, alongside my host, Zach.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, and we're going to jump into basketball week 13 prep. A lot happened this week. A lot of players back from COVID protocols finally. So, looks like in the NBA we're at the end of this kind of big tunnel of COVID. So,
Yeah.
we'll go over trade targets, top
least one.
scoops.
Sorry, at least one sport is getting kind of over that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and without further ado, we'll just jump in. So, surprises of the week. Trae Young, dominant this week, 62.8 fantasy points. And it's not a surprise that he's good. It's just a surprise that he's at this level of play. It's like a new kind of level that he doesn't normally hit. So we'll see if he can try to maintain that for another week. And Ferne Simons, 43.3 average this past week. Just go in beast mode with Damian Lillard out. So we'll talk about him more later. Kyrie Irving, first game back, dominant, 22 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. It's like he was never gone. We're also going to talk about him more later as well. Omer Yurtseven, maybe the breakout player of the year, 39.8 average in the past week. He's just dominating for the Heat, and I don't know, man. Like, Adebayo's eventually coming back, but we'll see what they do with him because he could still maintain heavy minutes. But we'll talk about him as well. And then Bojan Bogdanovic, 37 average in the last 7. Huge
That's
games
going
with
off.
huge games with Donovan Mitchell out. So he was like he probably helped you win your league or your week if you had him.
Definitely.
Yeah, top storylines though, or just questions that I wanted to talk to you about, Zach.
Yeah.
Can the Bulls maintain this dominance?
Absolutely they can, dude. Especially with I think the reason I think they can is Vucevic like coming into his own with everybody still performing good.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all playing right now very freaking well together. I've been very impressed with Vucevic over the last couple of weeks, more so than anybody else. Just because he's found his rhythm and found where he fits in the team. And it just seems like this is one of the most unselfish Bulls teams I've seen in a very long time. Just of everybody understanding their role, and they're so fun to watch. I honestly feel like they're not a pretender. I feel like they are a legitimate contender, man. The way they play, they got guys like who do you guard? I just feel like they have such good starting 5, man. It's so good. I'm trying not to be like, I got my Bulls bulge going, but like,
yeah. Well, there is legitimate chances because I said I was scared of the other 3 teams, but they've been going through like a lot of injuries and whatnot. I'm still most scared of the Bucks because nobody can guard Giannis. But the Heat, they're missing Adebayo. Butler just went out again. Like, they've been dealing with injuries all year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried about Yurtseven in the playoffs. And then Brooklyn, dude, yes, they have the firepower of anybody, but they got no great defense besides their big 3. Like, the role players are just very old and not that great. So they have like clear weaknesses. Like, yes, they have 3 of the top 15 players in the league, but besides that, they're really weak. And we have strength. We have strength, starting lineup and bench, and we could trade for somebody. So yeah, and we've been doing this domination still with players out. Like, Levine missed a week and a half. DeRozan missed a week and a half. Lonzo was out about 2 weeks. Caruso's been out like 2.5 weeks now, and we're still winning. So, and those are key players for the defensive end in Caruso and Lonzo. So, I don't know, man. I'm getting excited. I don't want to like get too excited.
They obviously got to stay healthy. That goes without question.
Got to stay healthy. And Vucevic, in the playoffs, he cannot get in his head.
I feel like he's getting it together, man. He's looking like he fits in great. Like,
yeah,
he's a top center.
In Here's a question. So these two have been compared for since they've been drafted for who's better, Trae Young and Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic has obviously had a decent amount of injuries so far this year, so that might play a role. But is Trae Young now better than Luka? Before this year, Luka was always better. But
I feel like it's a lot more close now. I mean, these two guys are
hmm
both great.
hmm
Obviously, I'd be happy with either one of them. But yeah, Trae Young, he's just,
he's going
he's,
off with the team isn't winning. When Luka plays, the
yeah.
team is winning more. So I
hmm
don't know.
I still would give a slight edge to Luka Doncic just because I feel like he does a little more. But Trae Young, though,
Yeah.
9.6 assists. I mean, averaging a double double almost. I mean, that's. But then Luka Doncic is also close to averaging a triple double. It's just
hmm
they're both so good. I just. But yeah, Trae Young's definitely bridging the gap for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely closer than it ever was.
Yeah,
The 76ers are really heating up. Joel Embiid's starting to look like an MVP.
yeah,
I'm not saying he's in the top. He might be in the top five, but he's catching up now in that race. And Tobias Harris is always doing what he does, and then Seth Curry is having like a breakout year.
yeah.
Um, in the past week, he's been going off as well. I should have put him in surprises. But yeah, we'll talk about him more later as well. He's just kind of been going off for the past two weeks. So,
hmm
could they take the 3 seed? Can they compete for it
Oh
against
yeah,
the top 4 teams in the East?
yeah. They definitely could because at some point they're also going to be getting Tyrese Maxey back, who was a good
hmm
shooter, another shooter that they can get. That's just going to help him beat out even more.
Yeah,
They're gonna be a tough team for sure. They could definitely crack the top three. Definitely. I mean, if they're fully
mhm.
healthy and playing this way, for sure.
Yeah, dude, and who else was I gonna? Oh, yeah, there's a rumor that they're gonna possibly trade for De'Aaron Fox.
Oh, geez.
Like if they're gonna, go for it one more time. So maybe they'd be
Okay.
sending Ben Simmons to Sacramento. I don't know. Maybe that's the talk, but
Huh.
be watching out for that.
Interesting.
And yeah, they're doing this all without Ben Simmons. So,
Right.
um, are the Lakers finally? I mean, they are finally finding rhythm. How high can they go in the West? They've already moved up to the 6 seed.
Yeah, I think that they can maybe move up to like the 4 seed, but I don't know. I don't see them as a top four team in the West still, even though they're playing better now.
hmm Yeah, now with
Just
the Grizzlies this hot, I think they could take the 5 seed from the Mavericks.
Yeah, I think they could go five
But
or four is like at this point what they could
but
do.
in reality, they would love that matchup. Grizzlies round one. They have all the
Yeah,
experience.
yeah,
I mean, don't get
they
me wrong,
would.
the Grizzlies are a great team. It's just they don't have that playoff experience.
Right.
So they'd probably be licking their chops. They don't want to be the 6 seed where they're taking on the Jazz.
Yeah,
You'd rather take the Grizzlies for sure.
they'd get embarrassed.
Yeah. So they could definitely win at least one round in the playoffs. I just
Oh,
don't know
absolutely
after
they
that.
could. They could go far. They have the talent to go far. It's just
hmm
they have not been playing like a well-oiled machine that you think can do something until
hmm
recently. They're starting to look a little bit better, but is it enough? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're utilizing.
I think LeBron still has to do too much.
That's true. He is going off. They're utilizing their shooters more though, like Malik Monk, and then now they're using Avery Bradley more. So I think that's helping spread the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah, definitely.
But
But this
yeah, we'll
is
see because Dallas is good too. I don't know.
with LeBron having to do what he has to do for them to be winning. Like, is he going to hold up? That's just it is a question. He probably
Yeah,
will because he
he has
takes care of
37.
himself. But yeah,
Yeah, but when he
he's
when he tweaks an ankle now, he's out like 3 weeks. Pretty
right. It
much.
just doesn't. Your body doesn't heal the same. So
Yeah. So yeah, they need him to stay healthy to keep this momentum going. Um, the Timberwolves, dude, they were out like 3 weeks with COVID, and right before that, they were on a hot streak. So, and now that all their starters are back, they're on a 3 game win streak. Are they gonna push up too? Or could they compete for
Yeah,
higher seed than 8. I mean, could they catch up to the Lakers too?
I think they could, man. They have talent on that team. Anthony
Mm-hmm.
Edwards is really, really, helping solidify them as a contender. I think like
Mm-hmm.
him and Karl Anthony Towns are playing well together, and that's been one of the problems they've had on the Timberwolves is they've had good players over the last few years on that team, but none of them were able to gel. But I feel like Anthony Edwards gels with Karl Anthony Towns, and that helps them
Yeah, and Karl Anthony Towns has matured and
a
is
little bit.
trying harder. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if they're healthy. Like, say that slight injury did happen to LeBron, Timberwolves could go on a big run for the 5 to go to the 5 seed. We'll
They
see.
could. They could. They
They're a fun team.
they have players up and down on that team that, they have guys that can do good things. Like Karl Anthony Towns could take over a series. Like he has the talent capability to do that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll be a tough matchup for anybody they play, whether they're the 8th seed, 5th seed, whatever they can be. They'll
Mm-hmm.
be a tough out for sure. That could probably go 6-7 games.
For sure. Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, that hits storylines. There's a lot of fun teams out there this year. It's a lot different than. I mean, yeah, the Warriors are back, but they were down for 2 years, so you can't be upset about that. And
Yeah.
the Suns are still a new team. Like that was only last year that they had that big run, and they got Chris Paul only last year. So
Right.
it's just a lot of changes. I mean, yeah, obviously the Bulls at the 1. It's just nice to see not all the super teams
I feel like
dominating.
like last year and this year more so than any year I can remember in a very long time that I've been, paying attention to basketball.
Yeah,
It just seems like there's a lot more good teams in both conferences now than there ever was, like teams that have a chance.
it's more even.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like only the top 2 on
Like
each side
yeah,
win.
that's what it used to be for years. Is like the
Hmm.
top 2 and if you're the 3rd seed, thanks for playing, don't, you ain't going to win shit. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Where this year, I mean, the Heat are the 3 seed, the Bucks are the 4. You know,
right.
and like we said, the Lakers always have a chance. They're the 6 seed.
Yeah.
The
And I
Jazz are the
just
3 seed. I don't know. A
basketball
lot of good.
is a lot more fun to watch these days just because it seems like it's more competitive.
Hmm. I agree. It's a lot more evened out since there's still a couple super teams, but they're not as dominant as they were
Right.
because they're getting older. That generation is. But yeah, let's get into some fantasy news here. Injury news. I'm going to run through the health and safety protocols, which is significantly lower than before. So Drew Holiday, Derek White, Keldon Johnson, Kristaps Porzingis, Steven Adams, Tyrese Maxey, Montrezl Harrell, Pat Cunningham, Rashawn Holmes, Devin Vassell, Alex Caruso. So I just went over players that are fantasy relevant. There's more to the list you could find online, but just wanted to go over those. And then actual injuries. Damian Lillard abdomen is still out, so there's rumblings that he's just trying to make it to the All-Star break, make the All-Star game, then have surgery because their season's kind of shot. So I'll just say it right now. I would try to trade him and see what you can get. I think
Yeah.
you have to get him out. Like with this abdomen injury, staying around all year, the team doing horrible. I think he is going to opt into surgery because apparently surgery's been on the table. He could have done it for years now, and he just wanted
Yeah.
to keep playing through the abdomen injury. So, yeah, if you want to end up getting something instead of having nothing for him, you got to do it now. I don't have him in the trade discussion just because he is a dominant player, so he's not a sell high necessarily because he's also hurt. So,
Mhm.
but I would try and get rid of him. Kemba Walker knee. So they did an MRI like 3 days ago. No damage, no structural damage, but he's still been out and he's not playing today. Like they're ruling him out days ahead. So it just must be a really bad bruise. I'm not really sure, but we'll keep an eye on that. De'Aaron Fox shoulder is questionable for tonight's game. Clint Capella ankle is doubtful for Sunday. John Morant thigh missed Saturday's game. Could be back today for the Lakers game. Wendell Carter Jr., his hamstring, missed Saturday. And then big news, Kawhi could be back this season. It was announced a couple days ago.
Wow.
Um, So yeah, the Clippers are still, I don't know, they're still relevant. I mean, they're still in the playoff picture. It's going to be hard for them to grind out wins right now. They just got knocked out of the playoff picture. They're the 9 seed, but if they can still get Paul George and Kawhi back, they have a chance. Luka Doncic ankle is questionable for Sunday against the Bulls. Jimmy Butler ankle is missed the last 2 games, so it looked like a bad injury, but he almost played yesterday, so I guess it wasn't as bad as we thought.
Hmm.
Alperen Sengun ankle to be reevaluated in 1 week. Larry Nance Jr. underwent an MRI that revealed no significant damage to his knee. So that's good news. Patrick Beverley groin questionable for Sunday. Also a great piece to the Timberwolves that's helping them get wins. Great bench piece. But let's jump into trade targets. So buy lows, John Collins. I think we've gone over him a couple weeks now just because he's been out on the COVID list. But yeah, first came back 30.6 points, which is below his average. I would see if he could still get him. I mean, whoever had him held him through COVID, but he's a really appetizing player with his going to go on a run here. Like, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to stay at the 12 seed and be below 500. You know, they're too good. They were just at the conference finals last year. With the rule change, it did affect this team the most. With you're allowed to play defense now, and you can't just throw yourself into players. But still, they're going to adjust and be better than the 12 seed. That's insane. So, and with that, like all the players on the team, their numbers will increase because they're doing better. So that's coming, man. Steph Curry, I only put him on here. Obviously, he's an MVP caliber player, but people could be worried about his usage going down a little bit with Klay Thompson coming back, and he's had a couple of dud games in a row. So it's most likely they're not going to trade him, but see if you could throw something their way. Cade Cunningham, 28.3 average in the last 7. You know, this is a guy who should be competing for Rookie of the Year, but he's not even in top 3 right now. I think try to get him and he could have a big second half for Detroit. So I think he could be above 32. I think it could be near 35 at the end of the year. In points leagues, categories, obviously all his stats could increase. So see if you can get Cade Cunningham. Scotty Barnes, his numbers are down. 28.2 average in the last 7, and he started out the year around 34. So I think it's just a rookie slump, and he could get back to form on a good surging team right now. So see if you can get Scotty. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 27.3 average in the last 7. He's really slowed down since coming back from a couple injuries, and I think this is the biggest buy low for me because I'm a big fan of his. The team has like no talent. He's the best player. So see if you can get him. His numbers should increase. DeAndre Ayton finally returned from COVID list. 26.1 average in his first game back. I would try and get him, see if they'll bite.
Yeah. I like that one.
It's a harder one to get because he is a 35 averager on the season, but it's just he's on a beast mode team that he'll always get stats. Probably one of the best floor players in the league. In fantasy leagues. Franz Wagner, the rookie who I think was leading the rookie ladder before the past couple games, but really cooled off this week. 24.4 average in the last 7. The whole team kind of cooled off though, including Mo Bamba, so I'm kind of thinking they're both buy low candidates and the team have bounced back. They are one of the worst teams in the league, but that doesn't mean they can't have big offensive numbers.
Right.
It's just they don't play good enough defense. And yeah, but he was taking over the rookie ladder. Like, this guy's a beast. And I actually put money on him to win Rookie of the Year before he started going off. So I'm hoping, obviously, he can go off. But
well, yeah,
he's a buy low right now. Harrison Barnes, numbers are way down in the past week. 21.3 average in the last 7. Yeah, I would just try to grab him because he could be traded to a team like the Bulls, a contender. So, in his numbers, he's usually around 30 in a points league. So he's way down right now. And you have some questions, Zach, about buy lows?
Yeah, I got a couple guys that I wanted to bring up. So
okay.
Will Barton, would he be like a guy that you could buy low on?
Uh, yeah, he could definitely be.
He's been kind of struggling, not as good as he was at the start of the season. The
Yeah,
last.
he's been on and off. I
Yeah.
mean, I would not throw too much at him. I mean, basically his average right now in a points league is 29.6. He could get up to like 32, 33. That's about it.
Hmm.
Like we kind of know what he is, but he is like the second best scorer right now on that team. So
Okay.
yeah, I would try to get him. I mean, people aren't that high on him. He's only 65.4% owned, so it's not like the owner's like dying to keep him.
Right.
Yes, throw something his way. Throw a guy who's overperforming like right now, like Kevin Love or Gafford or Seth Curry. There you go. That's one that's going off, and he could come back down to earth pretty soon.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not a bad one. You
And
had
then
another guy?
I have another guy, Mikal Bridges. Would he be a guy you could buy low, or do you think he just kind of is what he is?
I would buy low. I would expect a big second half,
Okay.
like where he increases his average to 30 instead of this. Right now he's at 24.3 in a points league. And it's just unbelievable. And especially in categories league, like you expect his defensive numbers to come up as well, and that's going to help a lot. So
Okay.
he's a clear buy low.
Gotcha.
And if you own him, hold. I mean,
Okay.
unless you're in like a really small team and there's a bunch of upside guys. But yeah, it might be an easy buy low too, which
Hmm.
sucks because you have him and we're talking about it. So
I know.
I won't be able to get him. I won't be able to get him from you. But yeah, he was around 30 last year. Like it was a breakout year,
Yeah.
and
So
he's
I think
on the number one seed in the West.
he
So
could get back up to that.
yeah, just a bad couple months.
Hmm.
But yeah, let's break into sell highs.
Do it.
We have a couple continued from last week. Daniel Gafford, 29.4 average in the last 7. We've talked about how Thomas Bryant's eventually coming back. Montrezl Harrell is on the COVID list. So his stats are inflated, but when they're all there, the centers, it's just going to be too much. And they're too
Right.
much splitting. So I actually just successfully sold high on him.
Okay.
Got him off my team.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
I traded Gafford and, well, the bigger piece is Giddey, but for De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, that was a good move.
Which, yeah, could come back to bite me because De'Aaron Fox does get injured. And if Giddey keeps it up, it's hard for me to believe in every rookie to keep it up. So I was kind of trying to sell high on Giddey, but we'll see. I'm still happy with, especially the part about getting rid of Gafford. That was the bigger one for me to get rid of.
Yeah.
Where Giddey was the risk. So yeah, I have Giddey on here as well. 41.4 average in the last 7. He's the second best player in OKC, so he could keep putting up numbers. But I expect every rookie to go through a slump, and I don't know if he's hit one yet. So I was just kind of getting ahead of that, I think.
Yeah.
But if you can't get anything for him, don't just trade him away. Like
Right.
I was able to get De'Aaron Fox. You have to try to get a decent player.
Hmm.
Kevin Love, he's starting to slow down from last week where he was a bigger sell high. Now he's 28.6 average in the last 7, which is still good, but I would see if he could still get anything because he could be a week away from a drop, and then you rode the wave and that's it. But if you can get value back, try to get the value back.
Hmm.
And here's a big sell high. Kyrie Irving had a great return game, like we said, 41.6 average. I am worried about all the games he's going to have to sit. And
Yeah.
especially in fantasy, you don't want that at all. That could screw over your week if they have 2 games on Toronto,
Right.
he's going to sit and you could lose that week. So I would try to sell high. You got him as a late pick. You held him this whole time. He came back, had a great game. Why not get some good value from it? Try to get a top 10 point guard that's going to play every game.
Hmm.
So this is the biggest sell high to me. Get him off your team as soon as possible because he's going to sit, and especially in New York games as well. Just it depends on where he's traveling. But yeah, Kyle Kuzma, he's still going off. He's going insanely off. 47.3 average in the last 7. It's not maintainable. That's not who he is. He could be around 30 on the year. That's like he's good enough to do that, but not this high. So try and get a top 50 player for him. Like if you could trade him for Scotty Barnes or Wagner, I would do it in a heartbeat. Or even Cade. I mean, I think Cade could finish better than him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, next player, Marriott 7. He's a top grab, and he's been going off for 2 weeks, but eventually Bam Adebayo is coming back. So this is more like a long-term sell high. Like maybe you keep him going for another couple weeks, but then you should definitely sell and see what you can get for him. Because he's putting up huge numbers. His stats are inflated, and when Adebayo's back, he's going to get maybe 20 minutes off the bench, and that's it. So he's a clear sell high if you have him. Maybe wait a couple weeks, though, to increase his value. Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane's putting up insane numbers lately. 41.5 average in the last 7. That team's just going off, like we talked about the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't know if he can just maintain. Definitely can't maintain 41.5, so that's why he's a sell high. He's a great player to have grabbed and own right now, but if you can get just a top player, like if you could combine Desmond Bane and Kyle Kuzma and trade for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that'd be a beast move, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a couple guys going off, so yeah, look, see what you can get, see if people are interested. Seth Curry is also going off. 37.3 average in the last 7. Something he's never really done before, and it is kind of a breakout campaign. Like all his stats are increased from previous years. So he is doing good in the year, and I think he could keep doing good. It's just with how high he is in the past week, see if you can get anything.
Yeah.
He can always come back down. His average on the year in a points league is around 27. I mean, that's kind of what he is. It's not this high. So, Andrew Wiggins, 35 average in the last 7. Clay is back tonight, so you gotta trade him. I mean,
yeah,
they're definitely going to impact each other's stats, and Wiggins is the one who's been producing, so he's got the most value right now. Did you have some sell highs, Zach?
Yeah, a couple guys I wanted to inquire about. Cole Anthony, would you sell high on him? He's back from injury and he's still putting up numbers.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't at this point.
You'd keep him.
Team keeps letting him play big minutes. He's obviously figured something out. Yeah, there's just no reason to right now. Just ride it, you know? Unless you can get, I mean, it's a sell high if you can get like a, let's look here. If you could get John Collins, that'd be a great trade. You know what I mean? Like you have to trade for a guy that's like a top 60 to 70 player.
Right.
Cole kind of is too, so you'd be going for like a top 50 player.
Gotcha.
See what you can get.
And then
I'd trust some guys that are more proven more than Cole Anthony. But
no, I kind of feel the same way. I just thought he was worth bringing up because he is a guy that if you did want to trade him, people might be interested in. You know, that's just kind of how it was presented. How I kind of am seeing the situation with that. Like I'm totally fine keeping him, like you were saying. Then Saddiq Bey. Do you think I missed the opportunity to sell high on him, or do you think I could maybe still get something?
You could still get something because he's like the best player right now on that team, but I would sell high. We talked about him in the past 2 weeks as a sell high. I didn't put him this week because he wasn't going off. But yeah, eventually, gosh, why am I blanking on names right now? Jeremy Grant will be back.
Yeah, and he's gonna he's gonna take away all his value.
Yeah,
but that's still like 3 weeks away though, isn't it? Kind of.
It is, but also not just that, but we've seen Saddiq Bey go on hot streaks and go through slumps all the time. It seems that's kind of what he does.
He's a streaky guy, yeah.
Yeah, when he's on another streak or increased usage, I would still try to get something for him.
Okay.
Yeah, any other players?
No, that's kind of who I like. Everybody we've hit on these lists so far. I just thought these guys were worth mentioning. Just adding on to the list there.
Yeah, dude. No, totally agree. Those are good sells.
Okay.
Let's go to scoops though, because I have a crap ton of them.
Scoops.
A lot of players who might have been heating up before they went on the COVID list, and then people dropped them, and then players to grab because of players going to the COVID list or injuries. So must grab, and hopefully this doesn't screw people over again. But And Fernay Simons, we talked about him as a must grab when CJ McCollum went down. And we thought he would fill in as the shooting guard, but apparently he doesn't do good when CJ's out. He does good when Damian Lillard's out. Because with Damian Lillard out, he's averaging 43.3. And we just talked about how Lillard is probably going to go out rest of the year, especially with the team doing bad. So then Simons is the best guard on the team, and he goes off, as we can see.
Right.
So he's a long-term must-grab. Like, Dame could come back in a week and play a couple weeks, and then his numbers would go down, but you could hold him through that. Does that make sense? Like, you can hold him through the couple weeks where if you still think Dame is going to have surgery, which I think he is, and then Simons is like a league winner.
Yeah.
Like, you get a free grab of a guy averaging over 40. That's insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
So he's a must grab for me. Also a must grab, Omer Yurtseven. Because we talked about him last week and he's on our graphic, but only 15.6% owned. And he's averaging like 40. That's higher this week than it was the week before.
Right.
So, I mean, just go look at his numbers, Zach. They're insane.
No, yeah, I have been looking at his numbers. I wish that I would have got him. I missed it by a day. Jason took him.
Yeah, me too, bro. I didn't believe in him. Like, I looked at him and it was like the first couple of games he was filling in for Dwayne Dedman, and I was like, other centers will be back eventually, whatever. And I skipped it. So big mistake.
Yeah,
but he's a must grab player. I wanted to talk about Malik Monk as well. 38.2 average in the last 7. And like we said, the Lakers were heating up, and I think he's a big part of that because they need shooters, and he's
starting to play like a player people thought he would be coming out of Duke.
Mm-hmm. He's gone through hot streaks before, like with the Hornets last year. He's a little hot and cold, but yeah, if you're playing next to LeBron, you should be a lot more open.
Yeah, he just seems like he's, just coming into his own as a player. Looks like a little bit lost out there, his first couple seasons.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about him as a grab. He's been a grab before, and then he cools down sometimes. So he's not a must grab right now for me, but he's a stream. One must grab is Patrick Beverley. He's still not owned, and 37.7 average in the last 7, 27.1 of the year in points leagues that value defense. So in categories leagues, he's even better, like, because you get those steals and blocks. He's all over the court. He's only 14.5% owned in ESPN leagues. Yeah. He's a must grab 12-team league, I should say. 10-team, maybe he won't fit, but he could. It's a great bottom 27.1. Like, if that's a free grab, that's pretty good. So, yeah, he did just have that groin injury we talked about, but I'd still love to have him on my team. Brandon Clark. It seems like he could be finally coming to form as the big man they thought he would be from Memphis. And obviously Memphis is a hot team, so everybody's sharing the ball and getting a little taste of the pie. 32.6 average in the last 7. He's doing this with a healthy team, and Steven Adams did just leave for COVID protocols, but he had a big game even when Adams was in, so I don't know, man. It could be like the transition from Adams to Clark, because he's got more bounce, he's faster, younger, and it's a young team that's running and gunning, so I don't know. He's a guy to put in your list, and yeah, I've grabbed him in some deeper leagues. Also a deep league move, D'Anthony Melton, 25.3 average on the year, also part of that Memphis stack team. 31.4 in the last 7. He's only 10.2% owned. So deep league move, 12-team minimum. I would grab him. Terrence Ross, 31.1 in the last 7. And this is a streaky shooter that we've talked about before, but he's only 7.9% owned. So why not go and grab him for a stream if you only need a stream and some of these other guys aren't available? Jared Vanderbilt is finally back from COVID. 29.8 average in the last 7. So yeah, he's their 4th best player on Minnesota, who's a competitive team, and he's only 13.2% owned. But yeah, he could get near 30 on the year. I'm not saying he will, but he's going to be above 25. His floor is around 25. So
yeah.
If you want a floor player, he's a great one.
I like that.
Alec Burks is a grab while Kemba is out with that sore knee. And we all know Derrick Rose had that ankle surgery, so he's still going to be out like 7 to 6 weeks. So yeah, Burks is a stream. It's only 17.2% owned, while Kemba is out. Talen Horton-Tucker, part of the reason the Lakers are on that win streak, he had a big 2 previous games. 29.5 average in the last 7, 9.5% owned. We know like he has extreme talent. So he's a stream right now because he's been hot and cold. But see if he can keep it going, and then he might be a hold.
Okay.
Lance Stevenson is coming off like the game of his life last night for Indiana, and brings his average up to 29.1 in the last 7. He's only 3.7% owned. So for next week, he's a stream, and because of that game, Indiana said they're probably going to keep him past the 10-day contract.
Okay.
So he's a great stream play while right now Brogdon and Karis LeVert are out. Like when one of them is back, it's over. But yeah, until then, still grab Herbert Jones, who we've been talking about. 33.3 average. He's the beast on the defensive end. So for categories, he's a must grab. 15.3% owned. And yeah, we don't know anything about Zion. So until then, this is like possibly their second best player. Well, no, Jonas Valanciunas is, but he's the third best player.
He's playing great right now.
Yeah, still a grab, and he's very low owned. I'd even rank him above a bunch of the guys we just talked about. I'd put him like 4th on the list.
Yeah.
Still grab Hamidou Diallo. He's slowed down, 26.1 average in the last 7, but you're still seeing how it plays out in Detroit. So he's still a stream. He's not like a must hold right now, but. And then also for Orlando, still grab Gary Harris, 28.5 average in the last 7. The team is still banged up. Why not just ride him while he's hot, see what happens? And then really deep league, Alex Len had an 18.10 rebound game on Friday. He's the 3rd string center for Sacramento, and he's the only one available right now. Only 0.2% owned in ESPN. Yeah, Tristan Thompson is available too, but they're not really using him. Like, he played that game too. So, really deep league. That's like 14-team, 16-team league move, Alex Len.
Gotcha.
Marcus Morris Sr., 32.4 average in the last 7, 23.5% owned. This is actually I don't know why I'm at the bottom of the list. He's way higher than this. Maybe just because I hate the Morris twins, but fantasy purposes, he's probably like the 5th best grab right now.
Okay.
Because the Clippers are banged up, and I thought Terrence Mann would do better, but Marcus Morris is the one taking it all, really. He's going off.
Yeah.
So. And then drops. That's the same as last week for me. The biggest ones are Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Mitchell Robinson. You could drop Dante DiVincenzo if you were holding him.
Okay.
Or Pat. People were holding Pat Cunningham, but he's a drop. Cam Reddish, who we talked about as a pickup before, is a drop because the team's healthy now in Atlanta.
Yeah. He's fallen down the depth chart.
Yeah. Otto Porter Jr. is a drop, especially now that Clay is back.
Yeah. Yikes.
So, some pretty obvious ones this week.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker still, I don't know, just
sucks.
I still want to believe in him, but he's just doing nothing.
Yeah, at this point he's watch list because they moved him to the bench, and it is what it is.
He's only getting like 12 minutes a game.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah, you just can't.
Yeah, Zach, but what are your concerns?
So yeah, Devin Vassell, he's on the COVID protocol. My situation where I own him in a 12-team league, my IR spots are full. Is he worth holding on to while he's out like this, or is he a guy to drop? Because he's kind of fringe. He's just good enough where you don't want to just drop him, but he's not bad enough to where,
Yeah, I think in your specific situation, this is a good example. So you're 5-6, right?
Yeah.
So you need wins. All your IR spots are full with good players.
Yeah.
So I'd say drop them.
Okay.
If you were like undefeated, you could afford to hold him maybe, but yeah, he's only 6% owned. He's on the COVID list. His average on the year is 22. I think you could put him on your watch list and still grab him when he comes back.
Okay.
but you need wins now.
Yeah, I do.
So you can't hold extra out guys. Like that's just gonna
Yeah, I'm kind of in dire straits right now.
yeah. Like if you don't win this week, you go 5-7. Like you definitely can't hold any out guys in your active spots. You have to only have active players
Right.
until you need your boys back. But until then, you can't take any risks like that. But yeah, he's a drop for most people, I'd say anyway. Like not even just your situation.
Yeah. And then Aaron Wiggins, is he worth a scoop?
Uh, deep competitive leagues.
Deep in a deep
He's a
move?
stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a good streamer because he is kind of hot lately.
He's a starter right now. On a crap team, but
Yeah, he could keep putting up some decent numbers. He's just not anything super special in my eyes, but
okay.
12 team or deeper, grab him for a stream and see where it goes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but did you want to take on schedules this week?
Yeah, I got some scheduling for you guys.
Specifically Tuesday, Thursday,
yeah,
and then Sunday.
I just want to quickly mention the Lakers only have 2 games this week, so maybe if you're looking to pick like Talen Horton-Tucker up or something, maybe you can wait a week on that.
Yeah, geez.
But every other team has 3 or 4 games, so kind of normal for everyone, all the other teams. And then Tuesday, Thursday, we have Tuesday, Thursday, we got the Denver Nuggets, Golden State Warriors, the LA Clippers, Memphis Grizzlies, Minnesota Timberwolves, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then Sunday, we only have 4 games. So Sunday is another light day. So if you're looking to pick somebody up on Sunday, you could go with the Utah Jazz, Sacramento Kings, Phoenix Suns, Minnesota Timberwolves, Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors, Detroit Pistons, and the Denver Nuggets. Those are all the teams. Those are the 8 teams playing those 4 games on Sunday. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that'll do it. Yeah, that's a lot of. There's some teams on there that play the Tuesday, Thursday game, especially like I instantly thought of Marcus Morris Sr. for the Clippers, where if you only wanted to stream him, you could grab him in one move and get 2 games out of it Tuesday, Thursday. So that'd be great. All right, well, that about does it. A lot we went over, but we condensed it to about 40 minutes, I think. So
yeah. This is
hopefully we help you win your week and make some big moves for the future as well.
Yeah, and that'll do it for us. Thanks for listening, everybody, and just be sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff on our YouTube channel. Obviously, that's the way you're listening to this podcast. YouTube.com/Garden of Sports. We also, you can go follow us on our social media. We're starting to pop off over there. We got our Facebook, Facebook.com/Garden of Sports Podcast. We got Instagram, Instagram.com/Garden of Sports. And we're also on Twitter, Twitter.com/GOSPod2021. And also, we're still working on getting our website done. That's going to be done shortly. We've been mentioning that, in episodes past, but just be on the lookout for that. It's going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait for it to be up. And you'll be able to listen to all our episodes when that is up. We'll have all our episodes on there. So,
hell yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. See you guys.